What's up, YouTube? Team Eliminators here. Mark the Shark filming,
And see the Gladiator.
discussing. Today we'll be discussing what would Yu-Gi-Oh be like if there was no side deck.
Well, first off, if there was no side deck, you would actually be a better player.
You'd have to put everything that you would put in a side deck in the main deck. So you would be like, all right, I have to counter this. Oh, but wait, I have to counter this, and then this is still tier 2, so let me counter this just in case, And
yeah, I mean, you'd have to, like, your deck wouldn't be just like, oh, it's 40 cards. Nah, you'd have more than 40. You'd have 50.
maybe 45. Like, just have a few techs.
But nonetheless, your deck would definitely not be 40. I mean, unless you could make it that way, that would just be amazing in itself.
Then the deck probably be tier 1, regardless of what it is. But, there's always going to be sides that be like, oh, we need a side deck. Oh, we don't need a side deck. It makes the game unfair. I mean, you could have like a tier 2 deck and then side extremely hard against a tier 1 deck and just 2-0 them, or, you know what to do against it and
how to shut it down completely. Yeah. And like, for that purpose, Konami, quoting a guy from my locals, hit Macro, Soul, and D-Fisher, like you guys already know. And it's because players would side in like 3 of each, or maybe like, well, yeah, all 3 of them, or maybe like 3 Fissures and 3 Soul Drain, or 3 Macro, whatever. But they would side in extremely hard just to counteract like 1, 2, maybe 3 decks. And quoting the guy whose conversation I listened in on, he said, from what Konami did, it seems like they're going to reward players for siding smarter instead of harder. Because if you're siding in 3 Macros, 3 Soul Drains, and 3 D-Fissures, that's almost a fourth of your deck. And you're being a real tryhard just to stop this one deck.
It's just like, alright, you're going to eventually come into it, and most of these cards shut down the deck, depending on what it is, or, you're going into the side deck, more than likely you're already going to have an answer to a deck and just shut it down, because usually one card will shut down a deck completely, or, it's just like, it's going to stun it for enough turns to where you can come back and do your plays and just win the game. And it's just like, well, I know I can side, but what if I couldn't? If I had to put everything in a deck, it would take the creation process a little further. You wouldn't have everybody using the same Dragon Rulers or the same Dark Wool or the same Bubble Beat. It'd just be like, okay, maybe we got a Turbo Dark Wool. Okay, well, this guy has Dark Wool with heavy back row. And then this guy, well, he has anti-meta Dark Wolves, or it'd be a lot more variety.
It would be, like with Kaiku. This card gets sided in against Spellbooks and Prophecy, simply for the fact of, no, my bad, against Spellbooks and D Rulers, simply because D Rulers then can't banish in order to get off their effects and stuff. And then, plus, his effect is when he attacks and inflicts damage, he banishes 2 cards, such and such. So, basically, what you're doing is taking away either their Dragon Ruler boss monster, or their little bitty fodder cards in Aura Plus.
I mean, he can be sided in just about anything. I mean, if you're not facing, like, remove from play or DD or whatever, it's probably going to hurt the deck, because, I mean, a lot of the decks right now are graveyard based and graveyard dependent, like graveyard independent and graveyard dependent. Like you don't have to activate effects from the grave, or you don't have to have monsters in the grave. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, either way it could go. But I mean, say he's on board and your opponent has 2 Graphas in the grave, and you just inflict damage and then get rid of 2 Graphas. So you just pretty much
Just
got
stun
rid of
the
you.
player.
Yeah, you just pretty much got rid of Dark Worlds.
And it's they can't really search out that third one, but
I mean, they could. I mean,
anyway, and like goes in match here, it's fantastic in any deck that runs only one attribute, but
yeah, like Battling Boxers, Dark Worlds, Heretics.
One attribute warrior maybe, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll stun the other deck if it's running multiple attributes, and it'll shut that down. Like it works in a Fire Fist too, so
Yeah. And Flying Sea over here. I mean, your opponent normal summons or special summons a monster, and you see he's got 2 level 4 monsters. You know he's going to go into XC play if it's not a tuner. So you summon that onto his field. You can't XC play. It stuns Fire Fist, Evil Swarms.
Constellars, anything that just main board extremes, even Mermails too.
Yeah. And so that's our input about the side deck.
And if it didn't exist,
Please rate, subscribe, leave comments in the comment section. See if we missed anything, point out anything that you see wrong or not wrong with the side deck. And E-Lemon-Ators out.